It's Monday, December 15th, 2014, and let's talk about what happened this weekend over at xdadevelopers.com. First up, a couple of Google Play Edition devices received Lollipop updates, specifically the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the 2013 Moto G. These updates have been captured by forum members, and according to the articles, your device needs to be stock and unmodified in order to install them, but I am sure someone will figure out a way to make it work otherwise. There's apparently also a leaked version of Lollipop for the Brazilian dual SIM Moto G, that's the XT1033, and supposedly it can be installed on other variants of the device. So if you've got that 2013 Moto G and you've been waiting for Android 5, check out the links down in the video description. Additionally, this weekend, a couple of devices received ports of Lollipop. I was pleasantly surprised to see the HTC Sensation received an unofficial port of CM12 thanks to XDA recognized contributor Shantur. It's still to be considered kinda testing, but so far people seem to be pretty pleased with it, and the list of working components is already quite high. Always amazing to see development still continuing on older devices like that. Speaking of older devices though, the Samsung Galaxy S Plus received a build of Android 5 this weekend as well. This is another unofficial CM12 port, which, just like the Sensation, seems to be surprisingly functional. The biggest issue I can see from the article is there are some laggy UI elements while you're making calls, and there's some forced closes to do with the camera and some of the CM apps. Definitely not a deal breaker, but I'll leave that to you to decide whether or not it's still daily driver ready or not. Now moving in a different direction, this weekend Sony put out a video demonstrating how to unlock the bootloader on your Xperia device. They did make sure to repeat several times during the video that it might void your warranty, but the video itself does seem very straightforward. It seems to cover all the required steps for getting it done on a Windows machine. So if you aren't already familiar with that process and you do have an Xperia device with a locked bootloader, it might just be worth a watch. And one last story, even though I think the OnePlus One puts out a pretty decent amount of sound, I definitely would have preferred for it to have dual front-facing speakers instead of the bottom-facing ones. And apparently I'm not alone in that thought. XDA senior member Abhi08638 put together a mod for the One that activates the front earpiece as another speaker for media playback. This mod doesn't actually make the device put out stereo playback, should be obvious there, but it does at least make it output sound toward you instead of that way. And it seems pretty straightforward to implement. You pretty much just stick a modified XML file in your system directory, change the permissions on it, and then reboot. There's even a zip file that you can flash from recovery if you don't want to do it by hand, and there's information on customizing the max sound levels on it after the fact. I do have to say, even though I haven't really had any complaints about sound out of my One, I might just give this mod a try, because it would be kind of nice to have the sound coming toward me. And finally, one other video was posted to XDA TV this weekend, where DroidModderX showed us how to unroot and relock a Nexus 6 using a Mac. Not exactly sure why you'd want to do that, but it's out there now, so go take a look. But you know what? That's going to be about all for me for today. You can find the links to all the stories I talked about down in the video description as usual, as well as the links to my YouTube channels. Remember, if you like this video, please leave us a like down below the video and subscribe to receive all of our content as soon as it becomes available. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.